Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ashrafil mursaleen Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammad al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, madadakum wa nazarakum Sayyidi ya Rasul Kareem Habibul Azim. Madad ya Sayyidi ya Sultan al-Awliya Shaykh Abdul Faiz al-Daghestani, Sultan al Shaykh Muhammad Nazim Adil Haqqani, Mawlana Shaykh Sham Kubani, Shaykh Atan Kubani, Shaykh Muhammad Adil, Mawla Khaliq al-Khush Diwani, Sahib Zaman Sayyidina Muhammad al-Mahdi alayhi salam, Ruhullah Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam, Sayyfullah Sayyidina alayhi salam, Thumma Sayyidina Bakr Siddiq, Sayyidina Umar, Sayyidina Usman, Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, Imam al-Husayn alayhi salam, Sayyidat al-Fatima alayhi salam, Wasairu Sadatina Siddiqina al-Fatiha. Kareem, Ameen. Fa'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ati'ullah ati'ur Rasulullah ulil amri minkum. Always a reminder for myself, alhamdulillah, just so da'if, miskeen, zalim, jahal. And but for the grace of Allah that we're still in existence, alhamdulillah. InshaAllah. We went over a lot of things last week, inshaAllah. Let's see what our SMC family has in store for us, inshaAllah. We went over Surah Fath and victory, wave and particle, all these different realities, inshaAllah. But from our online people, what are people giving us feedback, inshaAllah?
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, there are a lot of comments on the wave and particle realities, and they're asking how to achieve sincerity with our shaykh and tariqah so we can move from a particle state to a wave reality, inshaAllah.
Yeah, how to achieve sincerity, people ask all the time, is how to achieve sincerity. I think we talked about how to be sincere, is that faith is in actions, and that's why we ask people to provide actions. Everything in life is based on a response. When Allah is asking us, you take one step and Allah comes 99 steps. And even in reciting the shahada, why to recite the shahada? Allah knows if He put the faith in somebody or didn't put the faith. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. InshaAllah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So why is the first step to recite shahada? Well, because it's not for Allah. Allah knows if He gave you faith or not, but it's for ourselves and our nafs. So we're in a continuous need to remind ourselves. So sincere people, they reach a point in which they want to come against themselves, remind themselves and perfect themselves. So that becomes the whole path, is that faith in action. What are we doing if we say we have this love? If we say we have this love for Allah, we said before in all these other talks, it adds up to it. When you say you love Allah, that means if it's sincere, then there must be a love for Prophet, who's that perfect human being who loved Allah beyond our comprehension, who was created for the sake of loving Allah, for speaking for Allah, bringing the words of Allah upon this earth. So that becomes then signs of sincerity when Allah accepts the servant towards that Divine the Presence. He gives the best of gifts He has, which is to acknowledge and take the way of marifah towards the reality of Prophet. Because Allah gives you the best of gifts. When someone loves you, they give you their gifts. So what's the best gift that Allah can give to a servant? Some people think it's money, some people think it's fame, and everybody may have a different understanding, but truly when Allah loves you, what He's going to give you? He's going to give you what He loves, and He gives you to the reality of Sayyidina Muhammad, because He knows by that love you'll be drawing near to Him, being perfected, because the one whom is most perfected will perfect you. So the path is not about how am I going to be perfected, but how am I going to make my faith come alive and my actions speak louder than words. Now we understand, we live in a world where people's tongue is a two-edged sword, and this is how Prophet described people. In the hadith it's quoted, right, that they have a two-edged sword. What's a two-edged sword? Means the tongue that speaks from both sides, and the tongue that continuously lies and cuts apart everything. And this is a world in which we live in, and we see it now. Every single word is a lie they speak. So the tongue of truth, lisan as-siddiq, become more and more rare, and our life is to draw near to Allah, and Allah draws us and presents us to the presence of Prophet. When we have that love, then we know that we're entering into the oceans of sincerity. This is a gift from Allah. The people whom it doesn't come to their mind, doesn't come to their thoughts, they didn't receive the gift. So we can't blame them, this is Allah's gift for us. When we have that love, we cherish it. That's why we often say, we don't really care who likes us or doesn't like us, because we got the gift. When we have the gift that is the love of Prophet, it's the ticket. That gift will save us, that gift will bless us, that gift will intercede for us, that gift will fix our families, our generations and our entire belief and faith. Because you believe your last breath, I don't know what my actions were accepted or not accepted. Some people think, oh none of his actions will be accepted, and some people think this person like this, that person like that. You take your last breath and what happens? In that last breath you all of a sudden appear with the one whom you love, and this is a tremendous opening, a tremendous reality, and that becomes the intercession of Prophet and all of these realities, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
As-salamu alaykum.
Sayyidi, how can individuals working in the technology sector safeguard themselves from the negative effects of technology and external influence on their vibrations?
Yeah, inshaAllah, the people in the technology fields and any field right now, the safeguard is the same, is the energy practices and the energy realities. That which we educate ourselves in has an immense reality. So when we begin to understand energy and meditation, tafakkur and contemplation, then we understand grounding, we understand how these equipments can be extremely negative in their energy, and to counter it with very positive energy, shielding yourself from energy. So this is an immense reality. Imagine just the concept of wudu, where a physical person, they make wudu thinking that there's a physical impurity. So you can't pray in an impure state, maybe there's some sort of dirt or mud upon you and you have to wash it off, and that becomes your concept of why you have to wash. Then when you go to wash, you don't wash very carefully and understanding and think, well no, I'm clean, I showered in the morning, so this is just about prayer. But the one who follows the tariqats, follows these types of teachings from the shaykhs of energy and talk about energy, that they understand, no, wudu is far beyond the washing of my physicality. That I have to use energy, and the energy that exists within water, and I have to use that water to shield myself from all these vibrations and energies that are coming. And then my zikr and my practices is my internal wudu, so that the water inside of me is vibrating at a higher frequency from any internal attack that is coming. So I am fighting against external attack and internal attack. And when we take ourselves to muraqabah, to tafakkur, to contemplation, what happens? You're building an energy and a connection with your heart, so that to light the heart and the eternal flame. Everybody has a temporary flame, and once they light it with the muraqabah, because the shaykh is a custodian of light for the servant, because God doesn't give it to you to waste and to destroy. So when you make it the muraqabah in connection with the shaykhs, they have a light to distribute to the servant, like reflections and satellites. If you don't got it, you have to be reflected upon. So then that reflection will come upon the servant to light them. So it's like if you're not the sun, you can put a glass facing the sun, facing you, and begin to burn you. So there is a way to take the energy from the sun and cast it upon you. What about the sun that you can't see and more powerful than that sun, which is the presence of Prophet. So this is the concept of the shaykhs, is they're mirroring that reality, ati'ullah, which is Allah's command, ati'ur Rasul, to the authority of Prophet, wa ulul amri minkum. And in this reality, these ulul amr whom represent these energy stations. As soon as you connect with them, meditate and tafakkur according to how they're teaching you and the wazifas given, this energy comes on to the servant until the servant can become lit, in which they're a custodian of the energy and their heart begins to ignite. As a result of that internal energy that comes into them, then their internal force of energy is very powerful, and the water within themselves is vibrating at very high frequencies, and as a result burning everything inside, and then their wudu outside burns everything outside, so that their continuous battle against the negative energies. So now we said before, negative energy is everything. So did anybody think, oh when I make wudu it's a protection against the microwave? No, because they're external people. They think wudu is like, oh just there was dirt and now I'm going to pray. No, wudu was a much larger understanding. It was all about energy. So then the meditation students, the students of tafakkur and realities, no, they understand when they're in wudu it's a protection of every type of energy force that comes around them. And that's why we describe that the particles, if they talk about certain issues, then it's a very particle understanding. If they try to talk about issues of the wave, they're not qualified, and as a result what they speak makes no sense. But the wave, it can talk particle language because it's lower, and it can talk wave language, means the malakut, wa mulki wa malakut. But when somebody is learned of only the mulk and the material world, when they speak about spiritual issues as if from reading a book, and that's the problem. And that's why the students are recommended to seek out the knowledges of light, because these are the knowledges that save us in the last days. You know, the presence of Prophet in Islamic Ahl Sunnah is that hadir and nadir, that is present, omnipresence of Sayyidina Muhammad and is of an understanding and knowing of spiritual conditions. And in Surah Al-Fath and victory is the ayah. Didn't we go over that? But in this surah that we were talking about, the 48th surah, Allah describes Prophet shahidan mubashiran wa nadhiran. So this is a malakut understanding, a wave reality, but unless you're studying in the wave realities and the reality of light and the malakut, they think it's something very physical. But why Allah to speak about physical issues when Allah is talking about eternity and that which will be forever and eternal and for all of creation. Anywhere in this creation, this Holy Qur'an is a guidance. So it's a guidance also for the world of energy. So the jinn worlds that are of a energy being, they understand what that means, that Prophet shahidan, his light is vigilant over what you're doing, and that his light is mubashiran. Any good energy must be coming from Prophet. There is no access to the good energy without going through La ilaha illallah huwa Muhammadun Rasulullah out. So those wave beings, they have to be taking from the Muhammadan haqqaiqs, because mubashiran. So this is eternal, shahidan, that his light is ever witnessing. When Allah says He witnesses everything, He dressed from the Hadith al-Qudsi of Prophet that He is my seeing and He is my hearing eternally. So the power of that wave is ever seeing. So that Hadith al-Qudsi, when Allah described they did their mandatory, they came through love and voluntary, I became the eyes in which they see, the hearing in which they hear. This whole description of that holy hadith that we keep teaching is an immense reality from the wave world, from the world of malakut. So we say the wave is scientific understanding of the reality of light, so scientifically it's proven, and we call that malakut and the world of light. So for the Islamic people they say malakut, and for scientific and newer people they say, oh, this is about the wave reality. Yes, the Hadith al-Qudsi is about the Prophet's dress from the wave reality. So when if you're studying this world of light realities, then that's very deep about Prophet, that his spiritual hearing from Allah is all encompassing, and that Allah gives that light to be omnipresent, because in reality everything is from His light. So they can't explain that, they think, oh it's again particles are trying to talk about something. But I just described to you that every light, everything around us, even the phone in your hand, the wood on the walls, wherever it is made from atoms. These atoms are light. This is the science of quantum. This light is from where? Is from the ocean of Muhammadun Rasulullah. Prophet is present in everything. So of course he's shahidan, his lights are seeing it. That's why I said that the shaykhs who've been trained in light, they go into seclusion and they realized that their light, it was in everything, and that they could see the shaykh, they could see everything within every atom. And they, the shaykhs, however they were being trained in that light, they were in the wolves, they were in the trees, they were in every atom. And that atom could see them, could speak to them, could everything. Every one atom, like one Adam, has everything within it. And if Allah give you authority in that world of light and the world of that atom, means they can be everywhere at all times. They can hear through that atom, they can see through that atom, and if necessary they can speak through that atom. So this is annihilation of the self that enters into everything, because the world reality and the reality of a wave is something beyond comprehension. Only now I think sci-fi and these jinn movies are coming out to try to teach that, because they're a wave reality too. So they try to hijack into realities and to be many places through energy. So we're getting closer and closer to their disclosure of their realities. But this is already understood and in the hands of awliya that have been trained in seclusions and in their tafakkur and contemplation. That's why if they don't speak about tafakkur and contemplation, then this is a different type of person, because they have to be from the world of light, they have to have trained in the world of light, and they have to come out and train their students in the world of light, because that becomes the only source of energy and defense through every type of negativity, every type of attack. InshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, the world of light is a world of singularity. Is it also true for the world of darkness to be considered as world of singularity?
No, darkness is devoid of light. Shaitan is devoid of light. So the world of light and the wavelength of light is an immense reality, and the electromagnetic spectrum of energy in which a lot of the nefarious jinns are operating, then they become devoid of light. So light is a gift from the heavens, and that's why the humans have a temporary light as a testing for them to reach towards eternity. So they're given a certain frequency and said, make it to be eternal, and that's why we're sent for a test onto this earth. Because heaven, everything is stagnant. What do you want to do in heaven? There's angels, there's you, and everything is good. So you have to come to the abode of testing. So we're here for a test, to run through the Olympics of dunya, up and down, jump through hoops, do every type of struggle, so that Allah give us a stronger frequency, then reach out for realities for stronger frequency. Then as a result they achieve more and more lights. Allah's gift of light is eternal. What they achieve of lights is an eternal gift that they take with them through eternity. Shaitans are void of light. They're using energy frequencies from around, right? They don't have a light. So in our previous talks of manifestation, if you're poor, broke and violent, what happens? You wait on the curb and you find a rich person and you jump them. What happens when they jump? They pull out their knife and say, okay, do this as I tell you, do as I tell you, do as I tell you. Well, now you're using that person's strength, you use that person's wealth, you use them for whatever means you want. If you were powerful, rich and strong, would you be doing that? No, because you don't need to bother with those people. So the ones whom have power on this earth are God's creation. Bani Adam, وَلَقَدْ كَرَمْنَا Bani Adam, that they have a light. Shaitan is hijacking them, they don't know who they are, they don't even know the power they have. Let me come and make their power be for me. They don't know that they have the ability to manifest. They start to ask for things, it starts to appear. They start to have a goal and it becomes more and more apparent. If they're pious and ask, they start to have many things start to appear. So this has to do with the power of manifestation. So they don't know they have this power, so shaitan come to them and say, be like this, you be like this, and all of a sudden these things start to happen. So all of this earth are the manifestations of people, and the shayateen whom are devoid of light, they hijack the light of Adam and Eve and the offspring of Adam and Eve. So they're the frequency of energy that devoid of light, and the things that they create through the jinan and the jinn races, they're devoid of light. They're using the energies around, and that's why they make devices, they make mechanical devices because they don't have access to the heavenly lights. So when the Ifrit in the time of Sayyidina Sulaiman when he says, I want the throne of Sheba, the Ifrit says, it's going to take a little bit of moment. Why? Because they're going to use and manipulate the energies and steal the item and move it through space and time. So when people don't think, oh they can't move it, well they can. Allah was giving the example, and they were going to bring the entire throne, steal it for a Prophet and then move it through space and time and bring it. But the one whom had authority from heavenly power immediately by the speed of thought asked Allah and replicated the throne. So then when she came, it says, it appears to be similar to my throne, because they can't steal a throne from somebody, it's a Prophet of Allah. So they replicated, but with the speed of thought, because from heavenly power is not even comparable, not even comparable to satanic power that has to use whatever in the frequency of the earth and the power that's around in the earth and the power within human beings for their power of manifestation. So they use technology. Why? Through mechanical and built realities, they have to build their gifts. The servant of Allah is given their gifts from Allah, from the world of light. So something completely different. These are the big battles, and that's why shaitan keep them dumb, right? The concept on this earth is to dumb down people, don't let them know what their potential is. They can cause problems against the devil, and the responsibility of the shaykhs and trained by awliya is that, no, tell them the potential of their power so that they leave the satanic and come towards Rahman, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, does hearing bad sounds in a dream state also affect our energy compared to hearing bad sounds in a real life?
But they're somewhat similar, because the bad sounds in a dream is some sort of event happening. So there's something being recalled, a time, a place, or something's happening that these sounds are being played, the jinn are trying to interfere with a memory and understanding. So it's an attack, and either way if it's not good it's an attack. So again, sleeping with wudu, sleeping with the coverings and everything that's been described in our energy teachings. So you get the energy book, get the meditation book, have a ta'weez and prepare yourself for a spiritual battle at all times. Sleep state is a dangerous state. So it's a vulnerable state or a powerful state for the servant. So they have to always keep their preparations, keep their understandings and learn. That's why they have to understand how to bring their energy, how to purify their energy, how to have their spiritual protections, how to keep their head covered, and everything that we teach in our energy protocol and everything that Prophet brought for us, inshaAllah.
See, there's a question, basic question. As-salamu alaykum, Sayyidi.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, a lot of personal care products such as hand lotions, creams and shampoos are made of petroleum products. What is your advice on using such products?
That anything that we use has a difficulty within it. So whatever people can return to a more purified state is more important. And your energy practices will begin to regulate that more. Somebody whose practice is not too strong, they're not governing themselves by the energy they feel, and as a result the heedlessness that these chemicals have break their wudu and make these creatures able to penetrate their wudu. So only the people whom they understood that reality, so their shaykhs that they train, everything about them is energy. If you rub lotion on, if they put lotion on their hand and on their feet, immediately they feel a burning, because now negative energies can come through, because what's been put on them is not something pure. Its impurities will allow the shield upon them to be penetrated. So if they put something on their face, immediately their face will have an itching and feel like fire. Their feet, their hands, if they leave their head uncovered, again something coming like eating at their head. So the covering was not only for home and nobody sees them, the head is now exposed, so again like a creature's coming upon their head, they feel something like scratching at their skull. So everything, whatever it has in it, either it builds your energy field or voids the energy field. Then you look back at these lotions, the chemicals, oh they have this ethanol, alcohol, they have all these different chemicals. Common person is not disturbed by that, but it could be the source of why they have attacks, why they have difficulties, why they have different, and because the shaykhs know it, that when they touch that, somebody says, oh okay, well use this for your hand, it's so great. As soon as they put it like this, all of a sudden their hands are burning like getting hot, because things are able now to penetrate and attack them. Where before just the purity of water and being purely clean and keeping themselves to be sort of clean, then that is something different. So they use more organic. So if you use castor oil, it's organic, it's pure, it's not a petroleum product. So they put those, or put olive oil, then they can accomplish the same thing. They can take away the dryness from what Allah has provided. But as soon as you go to these companies with these moisturizers and creams and all of these different products, you run the risk and the difficulty of being attacked. So, and people may have sicknesses and they say they're not relating the sickness to the fact that you put all of these petrochemicals on your face, then yes you're going to have difficulties with energy coming to your face, to your entire being. You put them on your hands, your feet, then yes you're going to have the energies and the difficulty of energies. You go back and say, oh I have a lot of like leg pain and back pain, and make sure that you don't put these chemicals on your feet, because that's where the energy is going to be coming up. And you can put the organic, you can put castor oil, you can put the olive oil, and they don't have a secondary product, it's just that oil on it. So as they become more sensitive, then they start to look at the ingredients of things. We don't want to say something like this is wrong and this is bad, but as far as energy, you live by the energy, you burn by the energy. So the people whom are practicing, they know it to be true because it causes difficulty for them. So that they have to monitor exactly what they put upon themselves and how to keep the shield of their protection at all times, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Does zikr in lucid dreaming count in energy practices?
Yeah, I'm not here to say count or not count, but lucid dreaming or trying to take yourself into a lucid dream and or being between dream state and wakened state and doing your Allah, everything is counting because Allah is the one whom takes the hisab. So I don't know if you're going to do your awrad in that state, no. You have to be conscious, sit down and do your awrad. You can't say, I missed everything and in my lucid state I woke up saying, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. Does that count? Count for what? Count for praising Allah? Everything praising Allah counts, but your awrad that you're supposed to do in your wakeful state, not a heatful state, has to be done awake and doing your zikr. Every remembrance and every good deed is counted by Allah, but that's not the same as if I just wait to do my awrad in my sleep.
Sayyidi, it's a similar question came before. As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, in moments of despair or doubt, how can individuals cultivate faith in a divine plan or purpose guiding their lives?
Meditate. Follow the protocol, follow the books, follow the website, follow the videos, playlist. Anyone coming new and 50,000 new subscribers in Ramadan. So I would imagine a lot of people coming in new. So then start following on the meditation. So this is a shaykh of tafakkur, so yeah, go through all his playlists on tafakkur and contemplation. Arsalan now is making I think the 3 playlists and we'll start to develop more playlists, one for beginners, one for meditation, one for the jinn world and jinn talks. And you start to listen to these videos once or twice a day and indoctrinate yourself into these realities. So it's not a matter of just coming on for the question of from beginning, how do I do this? It's a whole science. So once you load into this channel you have to go through how to meditate, what is the reality of these energies. If you have access to the books you can get the books, if not you go to the Nur Muhammad website and start reading the articles, listening to the talks and fully immerse yourself in this world of malakut and light, this world of energies and connection if it's something that you're interested in. And a great majority of these coming from India and Pakistan. So alhamdulillah, and those whom are proficient in English maybe they want to start to translate some of the articles in Hindi. I don't know if they all just read Urdu, but there's a lot of different opportunities if people want to volunteer. Our way is based on service. If you want to volunteer then you email helpme@nurmuhammad.com and the commentators and the moderators have all of that in the subject line and comment line, that to reach out and say, I'm new to the channel and give your salams to the shaykh. Again you have to introduce yourself and let yourself to be known and not to hide. So let yourself be known, so I'm new to the channel and this is where I'm from, and you email helpme@nurmuhammad.com and introduce yourself. And as a result we send back an email with all of the basic understanding that this is our teachings, these are the websites, these are all of the different tools that are available to you, and you become more and more familiar just like a student with the shaykh. You can't hide and just sort of sit in the background for years and years and years, and what were you doing like that? come up front and introduce yourself and participate, make your comments in the video, make your comments on social media. We're strong on Facebook, so come onto Facebook with an account that's not in your personal name. It's not about socializing personally with people. Make an account in the Muhammadan way and begin to read the articles, learn, search, share. And all our life is about service. How do we share the knowledges and how do we share to other people, to other chat sites, to other social media sites, and that becomes a life of service and what we call khidmat. And our life gives our flavour of our life and the rank of our reality is based on our service. So our life is not to be silent but to be of service to the Heavenly Kingdom and to the Muhammadan reality, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, some people are asking if you can please guide us on if it is okay to do a voice over on the Shaykh's video or just subtitles are okay?
Yeah, the subtitle is okay because you don't want to change the voice and the energy. The Shaykh's voice has an energy field, so you don't want to change it to I don't know whose voice and what's that energy field going to come out. So best just to take the Shaykh's voice and energy that's coming out and put the transcript in it until we can get the technologies that will translate our voice into Hindi, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, how can we improve our ability to maintain peace and control our reactions to things that agitate us?
Through your tafakkur and contemplation, the more power you give to your soul, the more your soul can dominate your physicality. So if shaitan and the nafs govern the physicality of people, then that becomes the governing principle of their reality because their soul is held captive. So shaitan and the nafs is running the body and become very reactive, very aggressive, yelling, screaming, fighting, quick to react. So you're not in control of your person. So that's the sign of the bad character, and that's what has to be destroyed, is that you have to take control of your being. So the more power you give your soul, the more power it can push down the nafs and push away the shayateen, and that you become more like water, very sort of peaceful and liquid, submitting. But solid matter then very rigid, and that's when shaitan and the nafs are strongly in control. And only through a fire can you burn down matter. So we have then the three states of matter: solid, liquid and gaseous state. So scientifically matter has three states that they're in. If you're a solid state, you don't conform to anything. Why? Because the nafs and shaitan are controlling everything. No, 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 don't tell me this, no, 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 and angry, aggressive. So it needs then the energy and fire to melt it. So where are you going to get the fire and the energy from? Through your zikrs, your spiritual practices, through the connection with the shaykh. Because the shaykh, I said before, he's like a laser. If he begins to reflect from that light upon you, of course he's going to melt you and he's going to burn away your characteristics, the bad characteristics. And many people run away, so they say, oh why did somebody leave? They can't take the heat in the oven, in the kitchen. So if you can't take the heat in the kitchen then get out, because too much energy is coming. So it's not like why that's everything is individual. Somebody can take it for 2 years, 5 years, 20 years and then they run because they can't take the energy anymore. And that's the state of being burned and being burned and being burned with energies so that you can lose your solid state. You have to enter into a liquid state. Liquid state, anything happens doesn't matter, well okay whatever, who cares? They don't really care about anything. They're not sort of they're not stuck on something. Water you can pour into any shape and it sort of occupies that shape. Doesn't say, no this is not for me, they don't care. So that type of individual, when they're very liquid in their reality, then more energy from the shaykh and immediately they become ethereal and they're flying. So liquid to flying is a very easy fast state, can happen at any moment when the shaykh's energies are coming. But solid to liquid is the burn phase, and many don't survive the tariqah. Testing becomes difficult, their lives become tested, and that becomes the reality. So that's important to… and do your tools, have the meditation, the contemplation, do your practices, everything, and you hold firm. And then everything else falls into place. Oh, that's why the shaykh can be firm with the shaykh, by understanding who your shaykh is. Oh, all these practices you have to be tight because when it gets wobbly you're going to start bouncing around to everybody. And you bounce around to the teachings that are least intimidating to you. But Allah described, you broke your covenant and that's to the detriment of your soul. So that's all that shaitan wanted is, oh his teaching is very intense, run, okay, oh I'll take this person that he don't even speak English so I don't know what he's saying. So what's the benefit for you? Nothing, I don't have to care what he's saying because then I don't feel intimidated by it, so I don't do anything. So this is the games of the nafs upon people. But my goal was to take my solid, be liquid. Liquid doesn't run away because it doesn't care. The energy comes and it becomes ethereal and is going through hal and spiritual experiences. It's no longer caring about what's happening on this earth, inshaAllah.
As-salamu alaykum Sayyidi.
Wa alaykum as-salam wa rahmatullah.
Sayyidi, why is it easy to manifest negative action and desires with the power of manifestations compared to manifesting the spiritual realities?
What was that again?
Sayyidi, why is it easy to manifest negative action and desires with the power of manifestations compared to manifesting the spiritual realities?
The devil. Shaitan offers you everything for free. So that's the whole game. Anything that shaitan wanted to give you, everything. But Allah is not like that. Allah says, no, you have to purify yourself, clean yourself, make yourself to be worthy, because when Allah gives a gift it's eternal gift. Shaitan gives you temporary pleasure so that to lose your eternal gift. So read the Qur'an and understand when Allah is saying, oh you sold yourself for a small price. That's the whole understanding. Shaitan says, here I'll offer you all of these, nothing, just come and destroy yourself. And then Allah's warning that if you take that you lose your eternity. And you did all of that for what? Small gift, small time, it's not comparable to all of eternity. So people now are looking for temporary pleasures instead of an eternal pleasure and an eternal reality and an eternal bargain. They want the temporary bargain, and that's when they have to understand. That's why the shaykhs talk of very high realities so people understand what's at stake. Are you really going to turn away all these realities and gifts that Allah has for you for the garbage that shaitan promises, and then lose all of those eternal realities? So then that becomes the hikmah of showing the divine table that is immense. The divine of what Allah has in store for the servant for all of eternity is immense. It's not even comparable or comparable to what shaitan is trying to offer people of this garbage, inshaAllah. لشرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أصحابه الكرام ولمشايخنا في طريقة النشبندية العالية وسائر ساداتنا والصديقين. الفاتحة. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Shaykh Nurjan. Thank you for watching the video that you're watching. Inshallah, if you're happy with the content and happy with these programs, please support the button below, the programs that we have for our orphanage repairs, our water well, Give the Gift of Life, our mobile food vans. We have now 5 vans: Vancouver, Chicago, Los Angeles, Pakistan. There's many programs that reach thousands of people and rescue foods and give those supplies to people in need. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, be so kind as to leave loving comments and please share the stream. Every bit counts. As-salamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.